Mr. Schweidenbach and Attorney Walsh.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Pat Walsh, and I'm an assistant city solicitor. And part of my duties, I'm the attorney for the Board of Health. And I come here not to give the board any direction other than to answer any legal questions. But Mr. Johnson spoke to me outside, and Eddie and I have known each other for quite some time. A letter was sent out to Eddie this week. It was sent to an address that we were given. It was returned back. There might have been some miscommunication after that about how the meeting's going to be handled. So I just want everyone to be confident that everyone's going to be heard. And that's the reason you're here. These people are doctors from our community. They volunteer their time to be on this board. They only do that because they care about New Bedford and the health of the people of New Bedford. And we certainly don't want to give anybody short shrift. Well, Carol, you're going to be speaking, I understand, at some point in time, and we're going to have representatives from each of the different housing areas. We're not going to put a neck timer up here and tell you you've got 3 minutes, but you've got to understand the board has other business besides this particular event, and so you're not going to get 15 or 20 minutes to tell your story. Please tell us as succinctly as you can. We want to hear what's going on. We want to hear your concerns. The board has done some homework on its own. I met with them earlier this week, and we found out that a couple studies have been done by the EPA and the Department of Public Health. Those studies have not been released and have not been made public, so we weren't privy to them. This board is going to find these studies out as soon as you can and as soon as we can. But one thing we wanted to be able to allow you to do is we put a handout back there, a couple of handouts, and there is contact information for everyone that we know of that can provide information. This board is going to, on your behalf, look into whatever concerns you have, rest assured, but they also want you to be able to look into whatever concerns you have beyond just our local boards. That's why the contact information is out there. So you're all going to be allowed to speak. Please get to the point. I know these things are very important to you, and you get emotional about them. When I say that, I don't mean you're going to be screaming and yelling, but I know they're important to you and you get emotional because they affect your lives. And we do want to hear that, but it's got to be within a reasonable amount of time, and we're not going to cut you short, trust me. So with that, Eddie, however you want to handle it.
Carol Stazetsky is the first. Carol is the Secretary of Clean and the person who had been doing the research on teachers who have died because they work, well, not because they work at New Bedford High School over 30 years or more, and teachers who are presently living with cancer. Carol?
You can state your name and address.
Yes, I will. I hope you don't mind if I stand. I'm kind of used to it. My name is Carol Strupczewski, S-T-R-U-P-C-C-E-W-S-K-I. I do live at 1075 Greeley Road in New Bedford. For 31 years I taught at New Bedford High School, which we all know is built on the Parker Street dump. I certainly remember as a student when I attended New Bedford High School, the bonfires for the Derby football game at Thanksgiving time were held basically where the tennis courts are. And that was for years and years and years. We all know that the dump existed for a long period of time. But when I first started teaching there, a few years into our teaching, some people died of cancer. By the time the third person had, or the fourth person had died, we thought, uh-oh, we've got a problem here at Bedford High School. After Jack Curry died of esophageal cancer within, I would say, probably a 6-month period of time, they did an air quality testing to find out we had asbestos on the first level of the entire, each of the houses and where the cafeteria is. So they did the removal. Well, you know, as time went on, more and more people were getting sick. Not only with cancers, but also people had breathing problems. Recently, I started contacting former teachers and administrators from New Bedford High School, doing an outreach to find out if they knew other people that had cancer that worked at the high school. From my small outreach, I have about 65 people who have worked at New Bedford High in all parts of the building, on all the floors. We're not just talking teachers, we're talking custodial staff, cafeteria workers, office workers who contacted cancer and died. Various types of cancer, breast cancer, brain cancer, esophageal cancer, pancreatic cancer, cancer of the gallbladder, various ones. I also found out that a lot of people had respiratory problems that worked at Bedford High School. Some of them are still in the building because I did go to another function and once again I did my networking. I really think that we do need to have a health study done of present faculty and staff. Remember, the staff is in the building probably 48 weeks a year. New Bedford High School has been flooded on many occasions in the past. I know I have a cafeteria and I walked through the water and I saw the water in the courtyards up to the top of the benches and in the receiving area. And recently, I think we all read in the early part of the spring that VOCs were found in Bedford High School. Well, that was the first time they were probably detected because they did an air quality testing. But how many other times have VOCs infiltrated that building? Probably many times. It had happened once. It's happened in the past. Remember, underneath the Bedford High School, there's no permeable barrier. And when you read all the information, there is water underneath there. It used to be a cranberry bog and it used to be a peat bog. Well, you need water for cranberry and peat in order to produce it. I know at one point in time we had a major problem with a backup for sewage to go out. They were roto-rooterizing the cafeteria when we were serving dinner. So it was the dinner line on the left of me, the dinner line on the right of me, and in between the guy is roto-rooterizing to get the blockage completely uncleared. Well, that didn't work, so we dug up a room, which was B116. I know now they're going to be doing work on that room in the summertime. And if you have read the report put out by TRC, removal and abatement and removal of New Bedford High School, you will find in that report that 40% of the unit vents are not working. I also found out when I read the report that some of these unit vents have not only the PCB components, but also asbestos. And I thought, oh my God. I mean, they were working on those unit vents when I was teaching in there. All that stuff was probably flying all around the room. Nobody knew. The chairs that we sat on in the teacher's room, in the classroom, the foam padding on the chairs contained what I found out, PCBs. And I thought, oh great. So not only do I have PCBs in the unit vent, but I'm also sitting on it. All the foam padding in the auditorium, the seats, but once again, those have to be removed because the materials contain PCBs. The mats that are in the gym, I mean, you have to read the report. The more I read the report, the more I said to myself, well, I've been exposed to PCBs, I've been exposed to VOCs, I've been exposed to lead because there's lead paint, and when they removed the carpeting, which was adhered to by the concrete with glue to find out that the masking and the sealants contained PCBs. Well, those were months and months that we didn't have anything except the concrete. I realized that, when they built the building, as many other buildings, the building materials contain PCBs. But the Bedford High School is unique in itself because not only is it built on a dump, and we all know that the land is all contaminated with, arsenic and cadmium and chrome and PCBs and probably dioxins. I know they're going to be testing for dioxins. But the building itself, the material in the building, also contains PCBs and asbestos and lead, and the VOCs are coming up. And I really think that this